Welcome back to another one. It's your girl, DRA Wise, spiritual healing coach, helping you to heal your relationships with self, to heal your relationship with all things. Listen, we are back for another one, okay? Because I've observed that, and I myself, at a point in time, had this horsepower, fire horse 2026 energy confused, right? I was thinking at one point in time, like I'm seeing 99% of people who are having the conversation about, excuse My bad, family. Microphone cord fell out, and now we are back. All right. 99% of the people that are talking about this horsepower energy in 2026 are getting some very key things wrong. I will admit I was getting it wrong too, right? When I was first contemplating on 2026, when I was first contemplating on what this fire horse energy meant, it was all speed, it was all power, it was all let's go, right? But as we are settling into this 2026 year, as we are leading up to the official Chinese New Year, Spirit has been revealing some things to me that are different than what we are talking about as far as the mass media goes, right? Or the spiritual community, okay? And so, why this is important? Why this is important? Because so many of us are focused on being on all go, right? On 100%. And there are some blind spots. There are some blind spots. So Spirit is coming through right now and saying, let's really look at what we're doing with this fire horse energy, right? Let's really look at how we can sustain this momentum. Understand that this 2026 year, coming out to a 1 and a 0, is all about creation. It's all about bringing things into fruition, right? It's about the masculine and the feminine energy coming together and creating something. It's about your inner masculine and feminine energy coming together and creating, right? But how we create matters, because what we are doing right now, what we are creating, what we are bringing forth right now, what seeds we are sowing right now in this 2026, we want them to last, right? So many people have so many goals, dreams, visions, things that they want to bring into fruition. And with this horsepower energy, or this fire horse New Year energy, everybody is like, go, 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 speed, act now. Have y'all been seeing that? Like if there's I've said it, right? To move on the desires, go. We are in a space of movement and momentum, and this is true. But what people have been missing is that we don't want to move so fast on things that we cannot sustain it. We don't want to be so vigorous in our horsepower energy that we do not have the capacity to withhold it. Right? So here's what Spirit has been revealing to me with this download, right? I love what Elmira over here on Instagram just said go slow. We go slow to go fast, right? But what was revealed to me was that we have to value stillness and consistency more than speed. See, everybody has been thinking horsepower, speed, right? The Mustang, get there quickly, right? But what Spirit is saying is that, one, we're being convicted in our spirits quicker as to what it is we're supposed to do. So there's still some power in that. Like, you know what it is you're supposed to do. You know who it is you're becoming. You got that fast. Godspeed. Right? What we do need to be fast on is initiating a process or a system for us to bring forth that manifestation sustainably. So while everybody's been talking about, the horsepower energy is go, 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 it's make it happen, right? Full steam ahead. What Spirit revealed to me the other day, my kids were watching a movie called The Wild Robot. And I just happened to be in the kitchen, like making some eggs and biscuits or something like that. And I hear the fox in the movie giving the wild robot some game. The fox tells the wild robot, well, how do I explain this in a way that's going to make sense for y'all? So the wild robot is a robot that has been taking care of a duck. Okay. It's been taking care of a duck. I got to give you the plot, right? A robot has been taking care of a creature, an animal. This animal needs to migrate. It needs to move, right? Because that's what happens in nature. When seasons change, they have to move. But the wild robot is like, I don't know if I've equipped my little baby duck with the skills to be able to move, to progress, to take off, momentum, right? And so when the fox was giving the wild robot some game, the fox said, your kid doesn't have to know how. Your kid just has to endure. It was like, your kid doesn't have to go fast. Your kid just has to endure. And when I heard that, it was like my ears started going off fast. Ringing started happening in my ears, right? Because while all the other creatures, or while all the other ducks that were raised differently from this other duck that knew how to just, take off fast and go, this other one had to have the heart to keep going and to keep pursuing their dreams and goals, right? So what am I saying? Why did Spirit make that highlight to me, right? Or really shine a light on that? It's because this fire horse energy is not about how fast you get to the destination. It's about, can you just get there? Can you actually see it through? So many times we're talking about what we want to do. I have this goal, I have this dream, I have this desire. But what we don't realize is that on our journey, there are going to be things that we have to overcome in order to see that manifestation through, right? And all of us have an unconscious ceiling. All of us have things that cause us to retreat or that cause us to stop going after that which we say we desire. That's just what it is, right? So in order for us to actually have the momentum that actually carries us and that allows us to see our desires through, we got to first be ready to have the endurance in our hearts. That's number one, right? Do you have the capacity to see it through no matter how long it takes? See, that's what Spirit was revealing to me, is that so many of us are thinking that the things are coming into fruition, boom, right now, because we are in fire horse energy. Because we are in fire horse energy, everything is happening with such speed and vigor, right? And this is just one side of the story, right? This is just one part of the path. Because if we don't have the nervous system, the emotional capacity, right? The conscious awareness, the mental capacity to handle what spirit is giving us so quickly, then what's the point of having it? With this being a 10-year, also a 1 year, we are understanding that this is just the initiation. This is just the start. It's like, we've only just begun. We are only just beginning. We've just closed off a cycle. We are entering a new one, right? We don't want it all to come too fast, right? All the visions, all the desires. Because ask yourself really right now, if you had everything that you want right now, do you have the mental, emotional, and spiritual capacity to sustain it? So what I've been realizing is that what is happening fast is God is revealing to us in this time who it is we are. Who we are at a very deep level, God has been revealing that to us, right? Like with speed, really quickly, you are able to see the power that you actually possess. Or you're able to see the vision that you are being asked to embody and unfold. We're getting that quickly, fast. That we are receiving quickly. And the conviction in our hearts to embody this new reality, or to embody this new identity, or to manifest these new things, that conviction, we have it in our hearts like never before. We feel and we know so deeply in our beings that it is possible, and that it is real, and that it is here. We're seeing it. God speed. Quick, right? The memories and the visions that we had for our lives when we were children, oh, God is dropping it on us quick. We're like, oh, I forgot that I love that. Oh, I forgot that's what I was supposed to do. A lot of you know, or some of you know, or hey, everybody that is new to my content and to my work. I recently was reminded of how I am a sacred space curator. I was recently reminded that I am meant to bring women and some men together in a space where we could heal, connect, and serve. In a space where we could experience joy, fun, laughter, right? I just remembered that a part of my work is to help people remember their connection to God where they are, right? I just remembered this sometime in December, where Spirit was like, remember who you are, Desiree? Remember what it is you were supposed to do, right? Even though for all these years, I have been showing up, I have been making content, making videos, showing up in my purpose in other ways, but I had forgot this very important part that I've recently just remembered. And it's like, right when I remembered, all of the other directions, guidance, steps, all the other things that God has called me to do, I'm remembering now too. And I have this conviction in my heart in this knowing that it is so real and that I have everything inside of me to live it out in the physical. So God is really miraculously revealing us to ourselves. We're seeing who we are really. And this is beautiful, right? And this is sacred, right? But what we're also receiving this divine guidance on and in right now is to honor the process of becoming. See, with this horsepower energy and with this fire horse energy, we were just thinking straight speed, just go. Not understanding that with fire energy in general, we're talking about something that is destructive. The fire energy, it comes through and it destroys some things in order for something new to be rebuilt. Right? That's what this energy is. And so, embracing the process of becoming, right, is us embracing the aspect of destruction that is necessary in order for us to be who we were called to be. So I don't want to rush any of my processes and manifestations and unfoldments and not have the capacity to enjoy it for the long haul, for decades and decades to come. With this being a 10-year, with this being a year of creation, it's the masculine and the feminine coming together. The one being the masculine, right? The phallus, the penis. This is so mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. If you are here on YouTube with me, please excuse me. Whatever keeps happening, keeps happening. Dream and I are really going to have to look into a whole new system. Like, this is a gaming computer. All this stuff is set up accordingly. I don't know why it keeps shutting off in the middle of a live stream. So that's a whole nother thing. As I was saying, we are in a season right now where we have to embrace the process of becoming and not rush just because we are in a frequency of momentum, because what we're actually talking about is a marathon. We need momentum for the marathon, right? We want compound interest. This is about delayed gratification and having a spirit and a heart that can endure, right? That's what we're talking about. And Spirit has been revealing this to me over the last few weeks. One of the most surreal ways it came through was from my brother-in-law's baby mother. The mother of my brother-in-law's children passed away a few years ago. She died tragically, actually, due to an overdose. And when a week or so ago, I sat down in reflection, thinking about her life and how it came to that specific conclusion in the physical. And one of the things that Spirit kind of just told me about her situation is that she lacked faith or a spiritual practice. And so her heart grew weak and she no longer could endure. And so many of you who come across this video are really hopeful in this 2026 year that the momentum will carry you into a new reality. And it can, right? It can. But you have to make sure that your heart is in it and that you are resilient and that you see to it that the desires and the dreams and goals come to pass. So with Mimi, she wanted more. We talked about more, but she didn't have the heart or the drive to get out of her situation, or she didn't have the support or the know-how. I don't know. This. And I compared Mimi's situation to my mother's situation, because my mother was also a single mother, just like Mimi. And I asked myself, well, how did my mother overcome the same environments in the same situation? One of the things that my mother had was a very deep why. A very deep why. Her purpose and her reason for living and striving and going was so deep that there was nothing that was going to stop her from having faith, hope, belief, and knowing that her dreams and her goals would come to pass. Right? So she had resilience. This 2026 year needs us to have resilience and endurance, just like 2025 did, 2024, or whatever else. The seeds that are being planted in us right now are going to be blooming for decades and decades and decades to come. Right? I heard a guy online say the transmissions and the transformation that is happening right now in our lives will actually impact our souls for the next 7,000 years. I don't know where he gets that math from. That's not my business or my container per se. But I get it because everything compounds, everything supports one another. So as you are sitting with this horsepower, this fire horse energy, as you're sitting with this energy, think long term. Think long term, right? Think sustainability. And this is what I want to tell y'all is that the downloads and the transmissions of how you are creating sustainability in your business, in your relationships, in your self-care, in your finances, whatever area of life you are asking this horsepower to bring you momentum and power, right? You have to be asking the divine for the capacity to withhold. That's a process. If you are able to withhold it, right, this momentum, this power, it would already be fully in your hands and in your power, right? We would already be living it out, whatever it is we're asking the divine to bring in our lives with more momentum. So we have to be willing to go through the process. So for example, I'm asking the divine, I'm putting out there, I'm already affirming that in this 2026 year, I desire to host 6 in-person events. Or from winter solstice to winter solstice, I desire to host 6 in-person events. And with this energy and with this fire horsepower that we've already been feeling, Spirit has already shown me and gave me the conviction and gave me the spirit and gave me the knowing that this is something that I could have. Right? But see, God is always going to give you that. In inspiration, hope, desires, growth, that is our nature as human beings. To want to expand our territory, to want to expand our lives, to want to experience more. That is our nature. So God gives us that as a promise of its love for us, right? It's like this divine power, this God force, right? Gives us these desires and these wants as a validation of its love and its presence. So we're always going to have that. Right? And with these numbers of these days, like we have the day 1-11-1 coming up, which still carries the same frequency as 11-11 to an extent, right? Because we have 1-11-1, right? So this 11-11 energy is all about your wishes coming true. It's all about the desires in your heart being reflected in your external world. It's that luck. It's that fortune. Anytime we see 11-11, it's like, amen and ashe. It's like, I see that. It feels like magic, right? Naturally, 11-11. And so the divine creates things like 11-11 or this date 1-11, right? Puts these things in place to reflect to us what is possible. To show us what is possible. To show us the luck, the fortune, the joy, the manifestations that we can have. And so we're having that with this fire horse energy, with this 26 energy, with this new year, with this new calendar year, right? We have these seasons in our lives to reflect to us ourselves. And so, yes, God is saying, the divine is saying, you can have that which you desire. The divine is saying, yes, let's create a new way of life. Let's create a new way of being. Let's embody a new identity. Let's integrate with ourselves more holistically. Yes, let's do it. But I feel so called to speak to our need to endure the seasons, right? So think about a relationship. Think about a beautiful relationship, right? I know some of y'all are manifesting a relationship. Godspeed. You want marriage. Godspeed. Guess what? Guess what? I have an answer for you. Or even if you are already in a relationship and you want to deepen that connection, guess what? I got an answer for you that is happening. Godspeed. The new love life, love and relationship interactive experience is happening on Valentine's Day in Houston. I got it for you. Godspeed. God said, ask and you shall receive. Literally. Okay? God is giving it to us that fast. That fast. Literally, it's happening. Right? But do we just want to experience it fleeting? Right? Do we want a fleeting love? Do we want a little fling? Right? Do we want a little quick thing? Or do we want something with some stamina? We want something with some stamina. See, that's what the horse represents also. Stamina. The horse represents stamina, the ability to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, regardless of what distractions show up, right? Regardless of what chaos show up. Can you keep going? Can you keep pursuing? That's that horse energy. See, we're all talking about speed, but we're not talking about the stillness. How can we sit in this new identity? How can we sit in this new frequency? But let me slow down. If you are trying to manifest love, Godspeed, and you want to know some skills, some insights, or if you have a relationship and you're trying to deepen it and you want to learn some skills, some insights for sustainability, here's what you can attend.
Love life, the conversation, the connection, the chemistry. A love and relationship interactive experience. February 14th, 2 to 6 p.m., Houston, Texas. For singles and couples ready to deepen how they love.
Sometimes transformation doesn't come from being alone. It comes from meeting the right people, the ones who reflect you back to yourself and remind you who you're becoming. Join us for a love and relationship interactive experience, February 14th, 2 to 6 p.m.
Hey. Yes, we are doing it. Myself, Brother Yosef, my honey bunny, Dream Wise, we are hosting a live in-person event in Houston, Texas, creating an opportunity for like-minded individuals to come together and connect, to have the conversation, to have the chemistry. We are literally setting the tone. We are setting the vibe for connection to happen, not just romantically, but also friendship. Like, I'm there for the girls, okay? I am there for the girls. I'm looking for the ladies. Like, I want to find some girlfriends in the spot, right? I want to make some new friends. So we're also there to network. But most importantly, I think our goal is to have a different conversation about love and relationships, right? So much we've been hearing the rhetoric, the 50-50, the high value man, the high value woman, the who's the this, and to share bank accounts or to not share bank accounts too. I mean, we've just been hearing a lot. There's just been a lot of rhetoric surrounding love and relationships, and we want to create a space to have a different conversation. We want to create a space to add some context. A lot of these relationship podcasts, well, some of them, like what's on tonight's conversation, which we will be having a panel discussion similar to what you see on tonight's conversation, where you have a group of people sitting in front, and then you have the attendees come up, ask some questions on the microphone. We will be doing that. So get prepared for that. But in those conversations, a lot of times it lacks the respect and the honor of the unseen realm and how our relationships are impacted spiritually. I mean, like what? Like they lose it. Like I want to show y'all this because I made it and it's so gorgeous. Look at this. Yes, we're doing it. We're doing it. Let me show you. There you have it. That's our little thumbnail. Not our little thumbnail. That's our big thumbnail that Big Mama made. Our big little picture that describes our event. But of course, hit the Eventbrite link in order for y'all to learn more about it. All right. So that's that. So yes, you come to the event in Houston. You come on down, you drive, you fly, you do whatever it is you need to do to get here. You're local, you pulling up. You come to the event in Houston and you make a wonderful connection with somebody. You make a wonderful connection with somebody. You feel a vibe. There's a chemistry because we're setting the tone for chemistry. Trust me. Okay. So you come into the space, you catch a vibe, you exchange information. Nice. And there's some momentum there. Like y'all are talking to each other consistently. You're getting on the phone, you're connecting, you're making plans to see each other. There's some speed and momentum happening. Okay. The endurance comes in to say, okay, with that speed and momentum comes more responsibility. Do you have the heart? Are you spiritually prepared to withhold what you're asking for? So let's say, you know what, Desiree? You know what, D-Ray? I've been doing my inner work. I'm ready to hold it. I'm ready to hold it. And let's say y'all are holding that relationship. Y'all are going strong for 6 months. I'm telling you, it has happened. I have coached women. I've had in-person events where some of my Sacred Sister Circle members and some of my one-on-one clients have met a partner at the event and they dated for 6 months. After 6 months, the relationship ended. It's happened. It's happened. Why? The momentum was there. The desire was there. The inception was there. The seed was there. But the heart and the willingness to endure the trials and tribulations that come with having the dreams in the life that you desire was not. Because if you have the heart, if you have the endurance, if you have the wherewithal, nothing is going to stop that thing from coming to pass. And so what Spirit has been revealing to me about how to develop the endurance to sustain the things that we say we desire. One of the things that you're going to have to do that is so essential is remember your why. Got to remember your why. On all of my social media handles, I will be changing my name to DRA with the Y at the end. Because for so long, I hadn't had the Y because it was abbreviated for something else. But for my entire life, I've been called D-Ray. Like when my dad sees me, he calls me D-Ray. And for some reason, I left off the Y. But Spirit has brought it back around to me that I left off the Y so that I can remember my why now. Because I remember my why now. For a long time, I had forgot my why, and it made my spirit weary in showing up in my purpose. I forgot my why, literally and figuratively. Right? I was always called D-Ray with the Y at the end. Since I was a kid, I was balling. Y'all, listen, what I vividly remember being a basketball player, right? Y'all know as a basketball player, play basketball all the time. And I was like, I played the 4-5, right? I played the 4-5, right? And I was the type of basketball player that when I get the ball, I'm the type that's doing a move, right? I wasn't the big girl that just got the drop step. No, I'm too athletic for that. I'm getting the ball. I'm hitting you with an up and under layup. And so anytime I would do things like that, all of my teammates would say, DRA. And that meant your girl was on fire. That meant put the ball in her hands because, ain't nobody doing nothing with her. Nobody's messing with her today. That was always me, right? And I think a part of my childhood trauma made me afraid of that level of boldness, that level of recognition, that level of fire, right? I went into hiding. And so recently, during this winter solstice energy, if you've been following along with my story, I told you I went back and I revisited my past. I revisited my childhood, one of the most traumatic times of my past. And in doing that, Spirit reminded me of my purpose. Spirit reminded me that I went through all of that pain, all of that abuse, all of those trials and tribulations for triumph. All of that pain is connected to my prosperity in the highest way possible. So if you're going to endure and be able to withhold the momentum of what it is you desire, you have to remember your why. Why do you want it? How does it serve your highest good or the highest goods of others? I'm telling you, when you remember your why, this is where all the luck and the fortune comes from, right? So a lot of people be hating on Beyonce. You can never make me hate Beyonce. You can never make me hate Beyonce. I don't care if you are a part of like the Tiffany, the prophet Tiffany from the Christian community, right? Because I'm in the loop on that end too. The one who in the church service, she came out and was like, if anybody is following Beyonce, what did she say? I rebuke that in the name of Jesus because Beyonce is the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can't make me hate Beyonce. If you are a part of the spiritual conspiracy theory people who are like, oh, Beyonce did all of these sacrifices, this and that, you cannot make me hate Beyonce. It will not happen. Beyonce, what she represents, the mirror of Beyonce has activated too much inside of me for me to fall into any of those beliefs, right? Not to say that it is not possible. Not to say that in some reality or another, on some real realm or another, Beyonce done sacrificed some people. She is a part of the Antichrist on some realm or another. That may be true, but in Desiree D. Ray with the Y at the end, because I remember my why. Me, Houston, Texas, you can't do it, right? It's just not happening. But the mirror of Beyonce is the ultimate endurance, is the ultimate never letting up. Beyonce been Beyonce since September, whenever her birthday was. I'm not that much of a stan, right? I think she was born in September. Yeah, she was born in September. September something, because she's a Virgo, right? She's been the way that she is since then till now. We ain't seen nothing different. Endurance. Sis just keep going and going and going and going. But even deeper than that, have y'all seen the Beyonce? Have y'all seen the Beyonce? What is it? The Beyonce Netflix Coachella thing? What? If that don't inspire you, I don't know what is. Right? I don't know what will. I mean, look how they got Blue Ivy working. Right? So Beyonce has been the epitome of this fire horse energy, and then hence all the fire, all the horse energy that she's embodied over the last few years that has literally taken over and created a whole new appreciation. Created a whole new appreciation for the horse and the cowboy culture. If you don't use Beyonce as some sort of mirror of inspiration, that's crazy to me. We live in a world of, in a reality of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. What you are seeing, hearing, and experiencing is a reflection of your inner world or inner reality. So when we see Beyonce wreck shop on all fire, on all horse energy, on all cowgirl, cowboy energy for the past few years, why wouldn't I look at her as a case study? Right? I'm going to show you what my husband showed y'all, which when he told me this download, this fire horse energy with Beyonce, I was like, oh, babe, you did your big one. You did your big one. He really taught, but it was so deep because after he broke through and started talking, I started having revelations. And I was like, okay, this is some real shit. So when it comes to her, what I see is work ethic. Do you have the heart to continue the inner work of building your dream reality with speed and power? Listen, I done became a 5 a.m. girly. And this is why I'm telling you, give yourself time. So I've become a 5 a.m. girly since the new year. And I'm up at 5 a.m. I got two aspects of my routine down pat, right? Meditate and pray, got that good. And what I thought I wanted to be doing in that time is channeling, planning out content after I meditated, after I prayed, after I did all of the stuff that we know we should be doing every day. And it has just not the solution for how to spend some of the space that I have hasn't come up yet, right? But what I'm willing to do is keep showing up and keep doing it until Spirit reveals more to me, right? So when we think about Beyonce and the longevity of her career and the amount of work and evolution she's had to do to be at the level of success and stature she has, we got to ask ourselves, have I endured the inner alchemy to be and have what it is I'm asking to have? Listen, and I'm not just getting on your own ass, I'm getting on my own. There's some things I've done. I've put in the work. I'm like, God, I'm here. I'm showing up. And then there's another part of me that says, but I know I can go deeper. I know I can go harder. I know there's more inside of me that is ready to come out. And I know that more is the very thing that will hold me over the next few years, right? We're not talking about a get rich quick scheme, right? Dream and I have just made 11 years together. This January, 11 years. And we've had some very deep and very real conversations over the past few days and over the past few weeks. And one of the things that Spirit was just told me or revealed to me is that every new level of manifestation presents sometimes a new devil, right? We've heard that before. But sometimes it's the same devil, just checking in to see if you really overcame and did the work you said you were going to do. If you are really being who you said you were going to be. See, the 1111 energy also ties in with that Wheel of Fortune type energy. Because it's the luck. The Wheel of Fortune is the luck, right? That's why on all the game shows your grandma and us, we love to watch growing up, right? UPS, when you was on the UPS station or ABC or PBS or whatever, and they pull that wheel, they're trying to see what's my luck. What am I going to get? What am I going to get? Okay. And so this person just threw my thoughts off with this congratulations. What is this congratulations? Congratulations, goddess. Oh, okay. Now I read it. I was trying to, read the little language. Yeah. So that wheel of fortune and that 1111 is that luck, but luck only is luck when it is met with preparation. Come on. Can I get a witness in here? Somebody say preach. Oh, 11 years? Yes, thank you. 11 years. Yes, thank you. I received that. Yeah, 11 years together, right? 11 years. And 11 is a lucky number, right? Because we think 7-11. Yo, we winning with that, right? So, and then again, of course, we're talking about 11. I mean, we can just keep going. I could just keep going and going. That's also some fire horse energy, the ability to keep going, that stamina, whole side note. But yes, Dream and I's 11 year. Okay. We get in this 11 year, we started having conversations about things that happened in our 2 year of our relationship. Right? That's just how life works, how these cycles work. As you are going to a new level, Spirit will bring something else back around on the wheel of fortune to say, how will you respond? Have you endured the test of time? Have you developed your spirit, your mind, and your heart to be able to withhold that which you desire? Here's some work that I want to give the family to support you in holding all of the wonderful things that are coming into your life, but also how do you endure the trials and tribulations that come up as you are striving, right? As you are manifesting, because that's just a part of the process. We live in a reality where there's always yin and yang, right? I have on my yin yang shirt, which is synchronicity, right? But it teaches a lesson. So let me show you why yin yang is so important, right? What is, excuse my shirt, like I've been cleaning. It shows you that there's always some light in the darkness and there's always darkness in the light. That is the reality. There's always going to be a Jesus and the devil, angels and demons, sun and the moon, right? That's just what it's going to be. And so if we could understand that and stay focused on the dreams, the goals, the desires, this is how we withhold the momentum and we endure the trials and tribulations of a human life. Right? So, number one, you have to keep in mind that life is a marathon. Right? The work that you are doing today is not just for today. It is for the legacy that you will leave, and it is for the spirit and the soul that you will take with you when you leave this reality. The work that we are doing is for our spiritual and our soul development. And that work is what our children will end up building off of. So when we think from the point of this is a marathon and not a sprint, and when we think from the place of I know when it's time for me to sprint and I know when it's time for me to jog and sit in the pocket and endure. You got to be able to know the difference. Again, yin and yang, masculine and feminine. You have to be able to read energy. This is what I do. Or you can definitely just make sure you subscribe, like, follow, all of those things because I read energy. Okay? So if you can remember that the goal, the desire is worth more than what is showing up in the present moment, that'll keep you focused. And so an example of this is, you guys know I work for a company and there's been some funny business, for months now. And every single time they throw something at me, instead of me being reactionary, emotional, instead of me giving over my power, I just sit in the pocket and I pray and I focus and I move and I stay intentional. And every single time, God shows up in a way that is way bigger and better and bolder than what I was even thinking. Right? Every single time, God makes it easier for me to do what I've been called to do. See, if I would let these people get me pissed off, frustrated, annoyed, and shift my spirit, and I don't know how to manage that energy accordingly. If I would have stayed in a frequency of annoyance with this job for 6 months, I wouldn't be in the position that I am in right now to have leverage and do what it is that I desire to do. See what I mean? So as we're moving through life with speed and momentum, we still want to be thinking long term. We still want to be thinking, what is our end goal? And make sure that the decisions that we make align with that. Number 2, a meditation or a visualization that you can do, that I do whenever I find myself, becoming distracted and losing focus and not aligned with the vision, right? Because the more time we spend in misalignment, the further away we are from the full embodiment and embrace of our desires. Make sense? The more time I spend in a frequency that doesn't match all the momentum, all the magic, all the manifestations that I desire, the further I am away from those said desires. So what I want to do is have practices that support me in clearing that energy as quickly as possible. Number 1, spiritual bath. Spiritual bath, number 1. But when you get in, you're not in there just soaking, relaxing, and having your feet up. You're in there asking God for clarity and for cleansing. You are settling into water, water being the womb, water being emotion, water being spirit, water being information. And you are asking, especially as women, this is super powerful, especially if you have a lot of water elements in your chart. You can do this. Sink into that tub and ask God for clarity. And sometimes the clarity doesn't look like you getting your way in situations, but it looks like you making peace with it. It looks like you being like, got it. Cool. Okay. So we want to find ways to cleanse ourselves as quickly as possible. Another way that you can do this same kind of thing with mental and spiritual energy is by visualizing the violet flame. So one of the things that I'll do, if I find myself distracted or not in alignment with all the things I'm asking God to bring into my space, I'll visualize purple fire. Purple, violet is the color, but it's bluish, purple. And what this is an alchemical or spiritual flame. And if you research the archangels, you will see that they use the violet flame in order to purify spiritual energy. So when we are lacking resilience, endurance, when we are not in the spirit or in the heart of our manifestations, this is something spiritual and energetic happening. And so when you go into visualization and you see yourself surrounded by violet light, you can just research the violet flame. They also have these frequencies on YouTube where you can research a violet flame meditation or violet flame frequency hertz. But you just get into that energy and you let it start to cleanse you. And you surrender into that flame. And you understand that this flame is purifying anything that is in the way of you continuing with momentum, with you embodying that which you desire, with you actually living out the manifestation, whatever that is. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to hold that which you are calling. Okay? The last thing I'll say about this energy is that I think a lot of people are misconstruing when it comes to this fire horse in 2026 is that we are talking about mastership. We are talking about mastery of a skill, a trade, a gift, right? Like me, it could be being an oracle or channeler. But that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about mastership, and mastery doesn't happen overnight. And that's the thing that a lot of people are getting confused with this horsepower energy, right? They're thinking they're going to be the masters of this inspired thing they just received overnight. Like, that's just not how it works. That's why Spirit said this energy is also about stamina. How do you keep going on the journey of personal development, right? Another thing Spirit was coming through that was so deep was like, how you say you want what you want, but you're afraid to make mistakes. In the Sacred Sister Circle, we are reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. And one of the main points of the book was, of the chapter we just read was, the subconscious mind needs you to make mistakes in order for it to learn. If mistakes aren't made, it doesn't learn right from wrong, or what it is you desire, or what it is you don't desire. So, for example, my son, when he, let's say, he throws something on the ground and throws a tantrum, he's waiting for feedback from me to know if this is good or bad. Did he do something right or wrong? Based off of how I respond, that's going to set the standard of if he should do this thing again or not. Right? So if I say no, 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 and look at him with an angry face, he's going to say, okay, I don't want to do that again. Let me try something else. Okay? So many times we're wanting the speed of our manifestations, but we don't want the speed of the mistakes that must be made in order for us to do what we're supposed to do. Right? So Spirit is like, be okay with being imperfect. Endure the process of transformation. Endure the process of becoming. You are creating a masterpiece, and it only gets better by trial and error and time, energy, effort, consistency, discipline. D'Angelo, the singer, and his work, let me get it. This album, D'Angelo and the Vanguard, the Black Messiah, is a major part of what this energy is bringing. And I truly feel like D'Angelo's transition right before going into, not necessarily right before, but a little bit before going into this new 2026 year, and really a whole bunch of other energy was really purposeful and intentional and orchestrated by the divine. I think so. Because in his transition, this album gained more recognition. In his transition, we are seeing masterful works of art, like Dave Chappelle's most recent special from Netflix. D'Angelo's transition forced us to go back and look at his work. And I mean, some of you may have not. If you haven't, I'm recommending that you do. I'm recommending that you do. This album took over a decade for him to create. There was some songs that he had made already for 14 years that did not go on another album and ended up going on this one. And it's masterful. And that's the energy right now, right? This fire horse energy, this 2026 energy, this winter season is not asking you to become the master today. Spirit got me. Okay, let me revert that. You are being asked to become the master today, but understand it doesn't happen in a day. You are being asked to become the thing, to decide right now who you're going to be. That is the initiation. That is the 10. That is the start. You are being asked that. But you're also being encouraged to know and accept that the embodiment of it and the full fruition of it does not happen overnight. And so be willing to endure the test of time. All right? That's my message for you all, family. Take heed. Be at peace on this journey, right? As you are unfolding and manifesting, strive for more clarity, strive for more harmony and self-awareness, right? Unconditional love for yourself in this process, because that's the very thing that is going to see you through to your wishes coming true. They're here. They're available. You're finding yourself at the right time, at the right place, you know? But as these things are coming in, make sure you're ready to receive it. One of the things that I want to say that I am starting back up is free complimentary 15-minute calls with me for the ladies. 15-minute complimentary calls. And I just thought to tell y'all that right now as I was thinking about this, because so many of you are calling in new things, right? So many of you are manifesting new realities. You need to know where your blind spots are in your ability to withhold it. And so I'm making myself available more or again in this new 2026 year. I haven't done this in a very long time, 2021 probably. And so I'm excited to just have conversations with the ladies and just see where you all are and connect and see how I can support on this spiritual healing journey. Okay. Peace and love. I will catch y'all in the next one. Endure, keep working. The marathon continues. Remember that Nipsey Hussle spirit and energy. That's the type of frequency we in right now. Peace and love, fam. Peace.